Today, we're going to deconstruct something huge. How do you go from a tiny spark of an idea to a full-blown national strategy? We're talking about innovation, and specifically how India is building a massive engine to power its future. We're going to look at the whole blueprint, from that first what-if moment, all the way to the policies designed to make it a reality.
But before we jump into national strategy and economics, let's bring this right down to earth. Let's talk about something super simple: brushing your teeth. I mean, it's basic, right? But the story of how we do it is actually the perfect little model for this entire complex process of innovation.
For ages, the core idea was just clean teeth. Simple enough. And that led to an early invention, the neem stick. But while the idea stayed the same, the execution kept getting better. The stick eventually gave way to the bristle brush we all know, and then that was improved upon with the electric toothbrush. See the pattern? One simple idea, leading to multiple inventions, and then a constant stream of innovation. That's exactly what we're talking about today, just on a much bigger scale.
Okay, so to really get how a country builds an innovation engine, we first have to understand the different parts that make it run. Now, people throw around words like creativity, invention, and innovation all the time, almost like they're the same thing. But they're not. They're actually three very distinct steps on the road to progress. So let's break them down.
It all starts right here, with creativity. This is the spark. It's that aha moment in your brain. It's the ability to just imagine something new, something that doesn't exist yet. It's pure thought, the raw fuel for everything that comes after.
So what happens next? Invention. This is where a creative idea actually becomes real. An invention is the very first time a new concept is made tangible. The first wheel, the first light bulb, you get the idea. It's a unique thing that has never, ever existed before. And finally, we get to innovation. And this is the big one. This is the crucial step that turns an invention into something that actually matters in the real world. Innovation takes that brand new gadget and applies it, refines it, and makes it useful to people. And an invention sitting on a shelf in a lab is just a clever curiosity. It only becomes an innovation when it gets out into the market and makes a real impact.
And this table here just lays it all out so perfectly. Look at it. Creativity, it's a thought, born from pure imagination. Invention, that's a discovery, and it usually takes some serious scientific skill to pull off. But innovation, that's all about application. It requires strategy, technical skill, and a real understanding of what people actually want.
All right, so we've got our definitions down, but innovation isn't this one-size-fits-all thing. It doesn't just happen in one way. It turns out there are 4 totally different approaches that companies and even countries can use to push things forward.
First up, we've got the most common type, the one you see pretty much every single day: incremental innovation. This isn't about reinventing the wheel. It's about making the wheel a little bit better, a little bit lighter, a little bit more efficient year after year.
Yeah, this is all about those small, steady improvements. I mean, think about the phone in your pocket. Each new model isn't some world-changing revolution, right? But it's got a slightly better camera, or a faster chip, or a battery that lasts a little longer. That's how most companies stay in the game, by constantly tweaking and refining what they've already got.
Next, we have the total game changer: disruptive innovation. Now, if incremental innovation is a slow, steady climb, this is like a sudden earthquake. It's the kind of change that the big, established players almost never see coming.
So disruptive innovation brings in a new technology that honestly might seem kind of worse at first, but then it gets better fast, and before you know it, it completely takes over. The perfect example is the iPhone. Before it came along, every phone had a physical keyboard. The first touchscreen was this totally new thing that felt weird to some people, but it completely reshaped the market and made the old way look ancient.
All right, our third type is all about being clever. It's called architectural innovation. This is when you take the blueprint for something you're already great at in one field, and you use it to build something completely new in a different one.
This is all about taking your existing skills in tech and just pointing them at a new target. I mean, look at Amazon. They were the absolute kings of online retail and logistics. So they took that whole architectural playbook and said, hey, what if we applied this to groceries? And bam, a huge new market opened up for them, without having to invent a whole new company from scratch.
And finally, we have the rarest, most powerful form of all: radical innovation. This isn't just a new chapter in the book. This is a completely new book. It's the kind of innovation that creates things we didn't even know we couldn't live without. Radical innovation is a true revolution. It creates entire industries that just didn't exist before. The airplane didn't just improve travel, it created the entire airline industry, air freight, global tourism, you name it. This is the kind of innovation that literally changes the world we live in.
So, we have these 4 really powerful models for innovation. But how do you take these ideas and apply them not just to one company, but to a whole nation of over 1 billion people? Let's zoom in on India's blueprint for trying to do exactly that.
It all really kicked off in 2014 with this major initiative called Make in India. The strategy was pretty clear: turn India into a global manufacturing powerhouse. The plan was to attract foreign companies and their money, get them to set up their factories in India, and in the process, create millions of jobs and give the GDP a huge boost.
But just building things for other people is only the first step. The strategy started to evolve, with a really subtle but incredibly important change in the wording, from Make India to Made in India. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but it's a huge shift in mindset. It's the difference between being the world's workshop and becoming its design studio.
Of course, you can have the greatest strategy in the world, but it's not going to go anywhere if you don't have the right ecosystem to support it. You can't just wish for innovation, you have to actually build the infrastructure for it. And that's exactly what the next wave of initiatives in India set out to do.
And it all starts with people. It always does. The Skill India mission is just massive. We're talking about targeting 65% of the entire country's youth. And this isn't just about job training for today. This is a huge foundational investment in creating a workforce that's ready to create and drive the next wave of innovation themselves.
So, you've got this skilled population. What's next? Well, you have to empower them to actually take risks and build things. That's the whole point of Startup India, and it tackles the problem from 3 sides. First, just make it easier to start a business by cutting the red tape. Second, give them the fuel they need, funding, tax breaks. And third, and this is so critical, build bridges between universities and the business world so great ideas don't just stay in the lab. And the final piece of this huge puzzle is the digital highway that connects everyone and everyone. Digital India is all about building that fundamental platform for a 21st century economy. By getting high-speed internet out to everyone, making services digital, and pushing for digital literacy, it creates a level playing field where a startup in a small village has a shot at the same markets as one in a huge city.
So, the blueprint is there. The people, the money, the digital platform. All the pieces are being put on the board. The massive journey from a simple idea to a national innovation engine is happening right now. And it leaves us with one final, absolutely fascinating question. With all this in place, are we about to see the world's next radical innovation come out of India?